everyone. I am Shruti Singhal from Think Question Private Limited. So today in this session, we are going to cover a very important tool, that is Jira. So let us first understand the agenda of this particular session. In this session, we are going to understand what is Jira. The major terms include in this Jira, how to create a workflow in Jira, and what is story points. We are also going to create a Scrum management project, and then we are going to create a test cases using a plugin called as Zephyr. So let's get started. So before starting with the Scrum management, let us understand what is Jira and what it is supposed to do. So Jira is a project management tool which was developed by Atlassian. It's an Australian company which is widely used for issue tracking, bug tracking, and agile management, project management. So agile projects are those projects in which we have the deliverables in the form of iterations, which is delivered in the form of sprints. So all these things can be easily done with the help of Jira. So this was originally created for software development teams, where basically they had a platform by which they could manage their projects, wherein we have different types of teams involved, including IT team, marketing team, HR team, or the tester teams also. So Jira has a support for various types of framework like Scrum, Kanban, and hybrid boards. So that is why Jira is widely used right now, because in today's world, Agile is gaining a lot of popularity. So if I talk about the key features, it includes that here we can create, assign, track issues like tasks, bugs, epics, and stories. All these terminologies we are going to understand later. So all these things can be done using Jira. We can create a custom workflow. That means we can create a tailor-made workflow. A generalized workflow is like we have some to-do tasks, and then those tasks are in progress, and then we complete, so we have a done status. But we can create a custom workflow. For example, we can add a status like it is in progress with the testing. Also, it helps us to create a roadmap. So here we have a visual planning tool for setting what goals has to be achieved in each time period frame, right? And we can track them. Also, we can create real-time dashboards, burnout charts, velocity reports, and many more like this. We have also something that is called as permissions over here. So we can control who can view or create or edit any kind of issue that is created. This also comes in integration with other tools that are available, which includes Confluence, Bitbucket, GitHub, etc. Here we also have automation, repetitive tasks can be done. For example, in Zephyr also we are going to see that we can automate our test. Then we also have backlog management, where we can prioritize and plan our sprints easily with a drag and drop feature. And you can also do all these things on a mobile. So you have a mobile app as well as for Jira. So you can manage your tasks while you are traveling also. So that is why Jira is commonly used. Now guys, let us proceed to the common terms and, or we can say a common Jira technology terms. Okay. So the common Jira terms includes, the very first is project. So what is a project? A project is basically a collection of issues that is under a common goal. For example, if you're creating an open cart project or an e-commerce website, or for example, a banking application website. So that is a project wherein you need to track all the things. The next we have is issue. So issue is any single work item, which can be, this issue can be a task, it could be a bug, it could be user story, it could be epic, it could be anything, right? So any single work item is called as an issue. Then we have an epic. So epic is a large body of work that can be broken into smaller tasks. For example, I say that I have to verify my login functionality. Then in that, I could have small tasks. For example, I'm just verifying that whether the credentials are working fine. Then I'm verifying whether the forget password thing is working fine, right? So these are small tasks that can come under login functionality. Then we have another thing that is called as a story. So story is nothing but a user requirement that is written according to the user's perspective. For example, a user wants that whenever he is writing the email ID that should be visible. But whenever he is writing his password, that should be in the encrypted manner. It should not be visible directly. So that is the user requirement, right? So maybe there might be some websites in which the email is also visible and the password is also visible. So that is not at all required. So that is a story. Then we have, guys, that is something called a sprint. So what is a sprint? A sprint is a set time period in Scrum that usually lasts for 1 to 2 weeks. So here we have certain tasks that we need to complete, right? So once we complete a sprint, there might be some pending tasks which might be added in a backlog or in a new sprint. Then the next thing that we have is a board, which is nothing but the visual representation of all the issues. So how many issues have been completed, how many are in progress, how much time we did to complete a task, all these things can be seen on the board. Then the next thing that we have is the workflow. So what is a workflow? A workflow is the path an issue will follow from very start to the end, that is from start to finish. So it will comprise of all the status, all the transitions that are happening when we are creating a project. So that is a workflow. Now guys, let us understand a common workflow and how actually this thing is created. So when we understand that, first of all, we need to choose a template, that what kind of a project are we going to create. It could be a Scrum project, it could be a Kanban project, it could be any kind of project that we are creating. So we need to choose that template, and we can just avoid that also, right? After we choose the template, then we add issues in that. So this could be an epics, and epics can contain stories or tasks, which can then contain subtasks. And according to this epics, we prioritize our backlog. Once we have some backlog, according to that backlog, we create a sprint, right? And then we track the progress. Here we can also raise any kind of bug if we want to. And lastly, we close the particular sprint or task. So once we close that sprint, if there is anything that is pending, that could be added in the backlog, or we can create a new sprint for the same. So we will be practically observing all these things later, right? So that is how the process, basically the workflow actually goes by. Now, we are going to understand what is story point. So this is also one of the thing, or we can say one of the measurement that is done in agile project management, especially in Scrum. So this is basically the effort that is required to complete a task. So there might be certain tasks which requires lot of efforts, and there might be some tasks which are very simple. So depending upon the task, we give them the story points. Depending upon the effort, the complexity, and the risk associated with the task, we give the story points. Like for example, it is a very simple task. So we'll give a story point like 1. A moderate one, we will give it as a 3. And if it is a very complex task, then we can give it as a 8. And otherwise, if it is a very large or unclear work, we can give it as a 13 plus. So the way by which we are giving the story points may vary from company to company. But generally, it is given in the form of a Fibonacci series, if you can just see over here. Right? So if I talk about story points, the effort actually means how much work is required. Then complexity actually tells us that is this task technically challenging for us or not. And risk basically tells us that there are any unknown or unclear requirement or any kind of dependency that are available. So according to that, we generally give it in the form of Fibonacci series like 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, and so on. Right? So for example, let us discuss some example of giving a story point. For example, I want to design a login form using UI. So this is a very simple design task, so you can give the story point as 2. But if you have to implement the login with the validations, so there are some logics involved, right, from the backend also. So you can give the story points as 5. Now, if you want to integrate it with a third party, okay, then it becomes a little more complex. So the story points will be 8, right? And if you want to migrate this login form in any old login system, so that is of high risk, right? So the story points is going to increase, right? So that is what actually story points means. Now guys, without wasting any more time, we are just going to go for the practical workflow I'm just going to tell you about how to create an account in Jira. I already have an account, but I'm just going to tell you how you can create the same. And then you will be opening your account. There will be one verification code that will be sent, and then you will verify your account. And then you can move on to how to create a project in Jira. So let's get started. So now let us see how we can create an account in Jira. So on Google, first of all, you will type on Jira account creation. So it will give you a lot of links. So just click on the very first link that you get. So you can create a free account, you can create a paid account. So initially I'll be just creating a free account. So I already have an account, so that is why it is saying welcome back, but I just want to create a new account. So herein you have to mention some name that you want to give to your particular domain. So the domain is .atlassian.net. So let's say I'm just going to give you demo. So if this particular site is already taken, this is kind of an error that you might see over here. So I'm giving some other numbers over here. So this is available. So just click on continue. So this is the site that you're creating for yourself on Jira. So the site name is demo2312.atlassian.net. Okay. So here you can see that there are certain templates. As I said you that there is a Kanban template, there is a Scrum template, and there is a project management. So right now we will be working on Scrum. You can try and explore the Kanban and project management also on your own. So just hit the continue button. Over here, you can then give the name of your project. So let's say I am giving a name to my project as my project 1. Okay, so like this, you can give a name to your project and click on get started. So then it gives you various things that what all things you can have as a building blocks on your board, like a feature, a task, a story, a bug, a request. So you can change these things later. Just click on next over here. Now, these are the 4 things that you can track, that is to do, in progress, in review, done. So as I told you, you can create your status on your own, or you can just delete one of the status if you want to. For example, I want to check on over here that it is into the testing phase. So I'm going to mention here testing phase. So like this, I can mention a new status, or I can just remove it. So I'll right now not add any status. I'll just click on finish. So right now, this entire thing is going to process. So you can see the account is getting open. So it is saying welcome to Jira. Okay. Since I already have an account, that's why it directly asked me to create a project over here. So like this, my project 1 is appearing on my board. Okay. So you can create your account, and this way the project is going to open once you create your first project, right? So you can just click on these 3 dots, and over here you can see that whether you want to add it to started, whether you want to add any people, save the project template, delete the project, or archive the project. That is up to you. Okay, so this is a quick start, and you can view all your projects from here. Okay, so this is how basically you can see. If you double click on this particular my project 1, so you can see this is appearing over here. Okay, so you can see over here the same thing is coming. So this is a software project which is managed within a team. Now on the top of it, there is many things that is appearing over here. You have the plus option over here. You have the create option over here. So now what you have to do is you need to create a project, right? So the project is created. You can create more projects by clicking on the plus icon. So once you click on the plus icon, again, you can choose the template from here. Okay. So for example, you want to make a software development project, and then you can choose Scrum from here. Okay. And then you can use this template over here, that is Scrum. So it then asks you that whether you want to create a team managed project or a company managed project. So I'm just writing a team managed project. Then when you have this thing, so you can just give the name of your project. So I'm giving the name of the project as Open Part Demo. And then you can give a key, and this actually gives you the access level. So it is a private project, it is a limited project. So who can access this project? So if it is open, anybody can open it. So I just want to give it like a private project, and then I'm creating one create project. So I have choose the template as it is a Scrum project and it is team managed project. And then I have created one more project. Now, since it is a team managed project, I can enter certain names over here. So I'm just creating any demo names over here, right? So you have to enter any email address. So I'm entering like, for example, megha@gmail.com. Then I'm adding Priya. So I'm adding some random. This is not a actual thing that I'm going to do because actually it is not handled by a single person. It is done by a lot of peoples that are there. And then we have rahul@gmail.com. So we have so many names over here. Okay. So, what is the role that you are assigning them? They are the member, they are the viewer, or they are the administrator. I have just told you that we can control the view, right? So right now I'm taking them as a member, and you can invite and continue. I'm just skipping this thing. If it is a real domain, you can just invite them. Okay. So right now, then you can see this particular project is appearing over here. So right now, what I'll do is I'll just delete this project, right? And I have this open card demo available to me. Okay, so now you can see here we have, let us just understand what all icons we have. So the very first icon that we have is summary. This will give you all the summarized things like how many tasks is being completed in how many days, how many updations has been done. Okay, anything that is due, any overview. So once we will do something, you will see a lot of things is going to appear on this particular summaries thing. Then you can see we have something called as timeline, right? So when you hit on this timeline, let it open. So over here, you will be able to see what all things need to be done. Any month or dedicated timeline you want to give, the status category can be filtered from here. Okay, so this is the team. This is me over here. And then we have the backlog. So as I told you, the backlog is from where we plan our sprints. What all tasks we need to do. So you can see here we can actually integrate with Confluence or Loom if you want to. This is the board. This is the Scrum board, which shows you three titles over here. So you can have some more columns that can be added from here also. So it has to do in progress done. I'm not doing anything else over here. So if you want, you can add some more status over here. Then we have the calendar over here. This is the calendar from where you can mark certain things. This is the list of the things. Let it open. So whatever things has been done, so we have not created anything, so nothing is appearing on the list. So these are the forms and these are the goals that needs to be achieved, right? And see, everything is not done by a single person. These all tasks are divided. If you are a tester, you will be just solving the bugs and raising the bugs over here. So if you click on more, you can see we have development, we have code, we have some archive word items, we have pages and shortcuts and all those things. When you click on plus, there is some other tabs which can be added. So let us add one tab over here that is releases. Click on add to navigation. So when you click over here, this releases is added. Let us create a version over here. So this is version 1.2. So I've added a lot of before things. So I'm adding one version over here. So this is unreleased version. And over here you can edit. So you can add the start date of today. And this version will be released, let's say, in, let me see, let's say in December 2026 or maybe 2025. So you can mention, right, according to whatever you want to do the thing. So, right. So let's say I'm just taking this as a release date. Who's the driver? Any description? So here, let's say I'm just going to cover the basic functions. Okay. And I'm going to click on save. So this is not released yet over here. So I've just created a version over here. Now, let us come to the backlog. So if you click on create, one more thing that I want to tell you is you can create any work item from here also, right? So when you click on create over here, There could be a story that could be created. There could be some epic that you want to create can be actually done from here. And you can add some more type of work if you want to. So this is a task, epic, story, and all these things can be created. And these are the status. If you want to add any new status over here, you can do that. You can provide the summary, the due date, the team is going to do that, story points, as I told you, versions and everything over here, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create one epic first. Okay. So I'm going to hit on create button. So this is my project. So I'm just creating a larger epic over here. So I'm just hitting an epic, right? So this is my larger work area. So what is the status? It is to do. I have to do on this particular part. So what is it? I want to verify my login functionality. So what I have to do, I need to do what here? So if the username, password, and password credentials should work, okay? And then what I want to do is forgot password should work properly, okay? And then what I want is login button should redirect to profile page, right? So if my login button is clicked, the correct profile page is opened, and logout should work, and session should expire. Okay. So after if I am doing logout, my session should be expired. So this is what I want to do. So I have just mentioned the description. Okay. Who is the assignee? I can choose it to the automatic or I can just assign it to myself. This is the label over here, the parent. So this is the due date. When you want this thing to work, maybe by this date, you can choose a team. So here, what you have to do is you have to choose a team. But right now, I have not created any team. So I'll click on create a team. Okay. So once you create a team, so let's say developer team. Okay. You could have a developer team. You could have anything over here. So here I'm adding some team members. So it says no matches found. Okay. Because I have not, so I want to add, okay. So I'm just going to add like that. It is not allowed. Right? Just a minute, guys. Because it is actually scrolling, right? So it says no matches because there is no match. There's no team member like this. So I have written anyone can join this team without approval. Right? I'll just click on create button right now. So the team has been created. I'll just view this team. Now I'll add some people in this team because we need to collaborate in this team, right? So next what we have to do is, so if you want to view your team, you can just click here. So right now, let me just complete this task only, then I'll be able to view this. So this is the start date and this is the end date. So I'm just saying start date is today. So in this is a part of my version number 1. So issue color is purple. You can change the color of the issue if you want to. And if you want to limit or if you want to restrict it to what? You want to restrict this particular thing to only the members. Okay. So selects the role that you are part losing access to the work item. So that is how you can do it. So when it may make it to members, so anybody will who's the member will be able to access it. I'm just going to create, right? So you have created an OP1 work item. Okay. Okay. So now I have one epic. So if you go into the timeline and if you choose here to create an epic, so you can create an epic from here. Okay, so when you go into a board, right now you don't have any tasks because Epic is what? Epic is the broader thing that you have just created. Okay, so these are the teams. As I have just told you, you can just mention this thing and log in over here again to create a team. Okay, right. So this might even have a certain restricted version. So as I told you that we can create a tester team also here. Okay. So, no, it is not allowed to add right now. Let me just check out. Let me just click complete. Yeah. So I'll just view my team from here and I will be adding the members from here. Okay. So let it open. Yeah. So from here you can see the teams are here, right? So from here I would be adding the people. Okay. So it was not allowing me to add from here. So if I click on add people, so then I can add, let's say, abc@gmail.com. Okay. And then I'm adding, let's say, medha@gmail.com. Okay. So it is saying no matches because there are no people that basically can be added. Okay. So that is why it is creating certain problem. Okay. So you can see when you just click here, so there are certain people which you can find from here. Okay. So only these people can be added. So this is a restriction, right? So that is why, because you do not have a paid account and you're not getting confirmation from those people. And that is why, see, this is connect with the dots with your team and you can create a team from here. Okay. So basically that is why this is happening, because this is you and you are doing all the things and you're not getting confirmation from other people. Even if you click on add people, you need to get a confirmation, right? So let's say if I write over here, Medha, let's see, I'm adding this add one person. So this is added, then I add people. Let's say abc@gmail.com, add one person, right? And then I go to the teams. So this is the two teams that I have created. You can see both the teams has one member. Okay. And let me see whether if I'm now able to find. So I'm adding this and so I'm adding this. So these are some members which I've added before. So they might get activity late. So I have 3 people in my tester team now. So I'll just close this tab. Okay. Now, what I have to do next is I have just created one epic. I'll just go into my timeline and I'm just going to add something that needs to be done. Okay, so you can see you can start collaborating with them. So now comes that I want to assign some work. So what I have to do, the very first thing is I need to verify login with correct credentials. So if I'm passing on the correct credentials, my login should work. So what I have created, I have created a task. So this is going in this first sprint. Okay, I have nothing in the backlog. So when you go over here, there is something that you're going to see that you can add it in certain epic. Okay, so this is a task, right? So let it open. So over here, when you just see, so you can see plus. So so you can add an epic. So we have just created one epic, right? So I think it was not saved. Let me see. No epic has been created in this project. Okay, so I think that epic was not saved. Let us just create it again. Epic, and then what we have written over here is verify login functionality. And here we have mentioned that login with correct credentials, then forgot password, and then what is that my forgot password and logout should expire the session. And there was one more, that is that profile page must open after. So I'm just creating it again. So then I have the assignee over here, that is automatic. Okay. And then let's just make it big. So the assignee over here, that is to me. Okay. And then I'm not taking any labels, the due date. That is, as I said, that I'm taking, let's say, due date. I'm choosing a team. So I'm choosing a tester team. I'm starting the select date, start date, and I'm fixing the version as version 1. Choosing the issue type. This is all what we have done, and click on create. Okay. So add epic. It is not showing. Let me just. Okay. So let us just choose this version first. And then let us go into this print. So basically the story that we created right now, right? So when we don't choose this version, right? So what happens is that Epic is going in some other version, right? And this particular task is going in some other version, right? So that is why the problem is appearing, right? So when you go into the Epic, right? So let's say if I show the Epic panel over here, that is why it is not showing. So if I just check on this Epic, okay? See, it has no work items, nothing available over here, right? And if you just choose this version as 1.0, then there is no Epic that is coming. So that is the problem that happens, that when you choose a different version and a different Epic. Now, how to manage it, right? So you have this Epic, okay? So let us go to the list. Okay. So we have this verify login with correct credentials. This is a task that we have created, and this is the sprint that we have added. This is a due date. This is the reporter, and all these things you can see over here, right? So what we have done is, while creating this task, we have not mentioned the version. Okay. So these are the two things that we have created, and this was created, this was updated. So all these two things are appearing over here. Now let us go to the backlog. Okay, so you can assign any task to the Epic, but when ensure that when you are creating the task, then also you are creating that particular task in that particular version. So let us take this version. Okay, I'm showing the version panel here, and I'm also showing the Epic panel to you so that it is more clear. Now I hit on the create and I'm saying verify login with direct credentials. Okay, so that's all that happens whenever you're doing the work. So let me just close this Epic and version. Okay. So see, now why this task is not appearing, that we have not enter over here. We need to enter, right? So now I have an Epic. Okay. So if you want to see whether this Epic could be added or not, how you can see? You can just hit on this edit, and now if you can just see, this Epic is coming over here. This is OP number 3. It is automatically coming. So if you can just see in this Epic, show the Epic panel. So this is my Epic. Okay, so it automatically gets added only when you assign it. See, verify login functionality. Let's say if I have one more task, I say verify forgot password functionality. Okay, again you can see, press and enter, and there is no Epic associated. So now this Epic is coming because we have added this Epic, so it automatically gets added. Okay, so now it is unassigned. So you can assign it to any person, okay, or you can make it automatic. It is your choice how you are making it, right? Depending upon the team members that is added or not. Okay, so it is automatic that I'm doing. Then I'm just going to start the sprint. So this is my first sprint. The duration can be chosen according to your goal. So basic login must work. That's the goal. Okay. So that is the goal of my thing, and I'm clicking on start. Now, till now, there was nothing on my board. Okay. But now you can see I have two tasks that are being given on my board. So I've created a backlog, I've created a timeline. These are the two tasks that are appearing on my board, and they both belong to. So this is not belonging to any epic, right? Because I have chosen this task in what? I have chosen this task in different version, but this is also coming. Okay, so that is how. So verify with the correct credential, and you can see the last task is also coming over here. That is verify the forgot password functionality. So that is why the versions that you are creating might also work. So this is maybe you have started with this without any version and then you started creating. So you have just done this particular portion, right? Then you realize that no, I have to do something with the version. So you have done this thing, right? So this is working fine. Then you are doing the forgot password functionality. But remember, all these things I am doing simultaneously, but you will not be doing simultaneously. Okay, because the task will be assigned by some person, done by some other person, then verified by some other person. So it will be altogether a different process according to the tickets that is given. Now, when we are verifying, let's say the forgot password functionality, we observe, see, you can make a work item to the top, change the status, you can copy the link, add any flag or something, or you can just delete this task if you do. That it is not of importance. But one more thing that can be done is over here, you can create something that is called as a bug also. So for example, I raise a bug, okay, and I say that my forgot password button is not sending me the mail. Mail is not received. Okay, so this is not working properly because I'm not receiving any mail. So I've raised this bug over here. Now, when you just click over here, again, you can mention about all things, right? Just open this thing, right? So here you can add an epic, right? So see, I'm adding an epic that is verify login functionality, right? This is in progress. You can add the description. What is not working? You can describe entire thing, right? And then you can assign it to me. And then you can add some due date that by when you want this thing to be completed, right? And you can add a team to it. We have two teams over here. So I'm adding it to the tester team. Okay. And this is the due date, which is the start date, right? Okay. Right. So this is the due date till when I want to complete this particular. Let me open it again. Okay. So then you can just scroll down. See, here you have the story points. So here you can mention how important and how complex it is. So I'm mentioning the story points, let's say as 5. Okay. And then you can mention the reporter. Okay. And here, if you just see, you can have that automatic also, right? And you can have it unassigned also. You can create a branch if you want to. We are not creating any branch right now as of now, right? Because we just want to understand the workflow today, right? So if you want to add some git create or checkout for this branch, you can, right? So right now I'm not creating. This is for GitHub actually. And this is any automation rules execution if you want to add, okay? So all these things you can see over here. So this is how you report a bug. Now what I'll do, let's say I have completed these two tasks. I'll just move them to this done later date. Okay. Let's say this here. And the forgot also. So I've not resolved this bug and I complete the sprint. So you can see that the sprint contains 3 completed and 1 open work item because I've not resolved that bug, right? And that is still pending. So where you want to add this 1 open work item to a new sprint or to the backlog. So you get the 2 options, new sprint or backlog. So I'm going to add in the backlog. So this complete this sprint, right? So once you complete the sprint and then you go to the backlog, let's just go to the board. So you do not have anything because there is no sprint running right now. But when you go to the backlog again, so you can see this particular task is added in a backlog, right? So you need to create a new sprint, let's say. So this is your sprint number 2, that is you create. So you need to drag and drop this particular task over here. So now this task becomes a part of this new sprint. And let's say you are creating one more thing over here, that my profile page must, okay. Okay. So again, press and enter. If you're not pressing enter, it is not going to appear, right? And let us add an epic. So like this also you can add an epic and you can add a deadline. So this was the deadline of this task, right? So I have now 2 things that I need to be completed. Let's say I am creating one more thing, that is logout must expire the session. Again, press and enter and then add an epic from here or there. It's your choice. You can add story points, you can add so many things. That's up to you. Whatever things you want to add, you can add the sign in on and then click on start the sprint. Again, it will ask you all the details and everything. I'm just clicking on start right now, right? And now if you go to the backlog, then you have one sprint that is started. So you do not have anything in your backlog pending. Go to the board. So you can see this is still in progress. Now suppose this is verified. So you say that it is done. The bug is removed, mail is getting received. Now my profile page is getting opened, right? So this is done. So this is not in one go. Please understand that. It's happened step by step. Then I'm checking that logout is expiring my session. Again, you can create a bug if you're finding any. And then you can just complete this task and then complete the okay. And now see, you are not getting any pending task and that is why you're not getting any particular thing. Now just go to the summary. Over here, you will see how many work items were created, how many were completed, how many are due soon. All these things can be simply here. So this is a kind of dashboard that is created. Now in the timeline, if you just go here, you can also see was the functionality. These were the tasks and all these things were completed, when it was completed, how much time was given. Everything can be seen from here. This is the backlog which is empty right now because we do not have any tasks to do, right? This is the board which is empty right now because there is no sprint that is working over here. And if you go into the list now, right? So you see, so here you have to again change the status. Okay, so here I'm changing the status that this and this task is my completed. Okay, so I am just saying that somebody else again will be doing that. Yes, he checked all the things and then he marked them as done. Okay, so this is how. Now we go into the more and then there is something that is called as releases. As I told you, so you can see this is the progress and then I release this. So you can see this particular work items will be released. Okay, and then again you can automate the same. So this release notes of open card, verify this, correct credential, password and all. So these are the release notes and this is how the version is getting released. So this is how basically the workflow is created. So this is a guy's restricted version. Let me tell you, there are many things that you might not be able to do because it is not paid. Moreover, you are not working in a team over here. You are working as an individual. So no individual for themselves is going to use Jira. It is a team managed project, right? So for that purpose, we have a different development team, tester teams, and they might be doing their own rules, right? So this is how basically we manage Jira. Now, guys, if we go over here into the app section, I'm going to explore more apps. So you might find a lot of plugins. So I'm just going to explain a very small plugin that is Z4. I'm not going to the depth of it, but yes, I'm just going to explain. So there are a lot of plugins that are available for test management. So you can just go for the Z4, that is a test management tool. And this is the best seller. Just click over here. So you can see this is basically paid after a certain time. If you want to just try it, you can try it from here. So I'm just going to click on try it free. So then again, you have a standard version and an advanced version. I'm going to go for the standard version right now and just click on apps will be installed with a trial version of the following product, right? And if I just click on review, so this is going to tell us what all things it is going to do. And then I click on start free trial. Okay, so it says adding Z4 test management automation tool. We will tell you when your app has been added. So like this, app will be added to your particular software. So once it is going to add, you'll get a notification that this particular app is added, and then you have to enable it. Initially, when you add this particular app, it is disabled. Okay. So now you can see it is saying you have successfully added this particular tool. So just click on manage app. So when you click on manage app, you can see that this is some subscriptions. If you want to take it later on, you can, right? So this is the releases that you have just simply added your Jira into the tool, right? Just go to your project, right? So when you go into the project and you go into the more section, you will see this particular tool now available in your project that is called as Z4. Okay, there are many other tools like this also. So just click on this Z4. So it says that it is currently disabled. If you want to enable it, just click here. So you have to click here if you want to enable it for your project. Now guys, here you can see some tabs like test cases, test cycle, test plans and reports. So these particular things are all related to your test management. So for example, you have some epic and you want to link that something to your epic. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the backlog. Okay. And I'm just going to create an epic over here. So I'm just going to create another verify. Let's say login functionality again. So one more epic for source. So there is another website that I have. So just creating this as a task. So just a minute, guys. Let me just create an epic first, then I'm going to create a task. So I'm just going to create. So I'm not mentioning any version because this is not related to any version. Okay. So I'm just saying verify login functionality system. So this is a demo website. I'm not mentioning anything over here. I'm just clicking on create right now. Okay. And this is an epic that is created. And then suppose I have some task, right? So create a task, verify with correct credentials. Okay. So this is the task that I have created. Again, you know that if you're not getting header, then it is not created, right? And just take it to a sprint. Okay, so I have just a sprint. I'm going to add an epic, the one that I have just created. So let us just start the sprint. So now this particular thing is available for my. So you have started your sprint, and in the backlog, if you will see that I have this verified thing that is available. Now I go to my Z4. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to create my test cases. So this is for test management. The manual test cases that you were making, you can also make it over here. So you can create a folders. For example, if you're creating different type of test cases for different things like smoke testing, sanity testing, regression, you can create the folder. Here is you have the cycles. So if you want to run the particular test case again and again, you want to clone it, you want to delete it, you can create cycles for them. Here is the planning. Okay, so I have not created. So if you click on new test plan, you can mention the objective, why you are creating that test case. And these are the reports that will be created, all the execution reports, and you can just have the traceability also over here. So this is how this is a very good tool for testing. So what I'll do, I'll just create a simple test case over here. I'll just click on new test case. Okay, so here, what is the test case? I want to check username, or we can say we have just created verify with correct username and password. So if I'm entering a correct username and password, what is going to happen? So what is the precondition here? That my registration should be complete. Okay, so this is the precondition. Here you can see we have something that is called as details. So here you can see we have, when you click over here, deprecated, approved. So you can create more status if you need. Okay, then you have the priority. You can set the priority. So it is high. Okay, so you can set the priority of your test cases. You can also mention the estimated runtime, right? So what is the estimated runtime? Let's say 20 seconds. If you have created any folder, you can add them in a folder and then you can have some links. So I'm writing create and edit. So you can see there is this test case OPT1, verify correct username and password, that is created. Now there are two ways by which you can run this particular test case. Okay. So here you can now see there is something called as traceability that is getting open. So when I click on add on existing issue, I have so many existing issues that I have done. So I want to work with this one. So you can add. So now this particular issue is basically related to this particular API. So that is how you trace the user requirements, right? Now you have this test script. So you can record it and you can add the steps manually. Okay, so manual is simple. The way you write it, you have to write each and every steps. What will be the test data if you want to give any test data, the URL or the username and the passwords, and how it is going to do. So we have all done this in Excel, but now let us understand how we can record. So let's say we choose this record test script. Okay, and then we need to mention here the URL. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open here Google and I'm going to open the website that is sourced in. So this is the website that we have. Okay, and I'm just going to copy this URL and this URL will be pasted here. So this is the URL that I want to test. Okay, and this is the device profile, that this is the desktop, mobile or tablet. I am testing it on the desktop itself. And then I'm saying record my steps. So just observe, this is a very beautiful thing that is going to happen, that is going to record all my things. So it says that this is the account to your this particular account, correct account. Okay. So there is some error that has come over here. Let me just see. Okay, record steps. Okay, actually, basically, I already have some account with this particular thing. So we need to reflect the account to enable the following features. So Jira users can automatically join to your reflect account. So basically, I have one more account and I need to connect to that account. And that is why it is saying an unknown error is coming. Okay, so why this is coming? Because I have this account also, right? So over here, I need to actually see if there is any notification that is appearing. Yeah. So that is why it is giving me to connect it. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just use my this particular account right now because it is not allowing me to connect because I'm already using Z4. So what happens is, suppose if you are already using Z4, then you need to use that account and it was not allowing to me to add that way, right? So it is asking me basically to connect to that account, only then I'm going to use it. So if you, when you choose the steps manually, you can write it over here. Let's suppose the, what is the first step? That is open the URL. Okay. What is the test data? This is the URL that I have. Okay, so this is the URL that I have. What is the expected result? That is the URL must open. Okay, this is the first step. Okay, then I am just going to add a step. I'm just going to show you how you can do it with that automation also. Don't worry about that. So next step, let's say, then I have to, what is the next step? I have to enter the username. And if I just go into that URL, so you can see over here, there is some username password. So I'm going to use this username that is standard user. So that is the data, that is standard underscore user. And then what should happen when I enter standard user? Let's say I'm entering it. Then I have to just move to the password, right? So there is no expected result in this. So then I have to add step that I have to enter the password, right? And what is the password? It is secret underscore sauce, right? And there is nothing that I have to do in this. Then I have to add a step. What I have to do, I have to click on login, right? So the next step is here. I'm going to mention click login. Okay, so again, I do not have any data here. The expected result is that profile page must move. Okay, so this is the thing that should happen. So suppose if I enter here secret underscore sauce and I click on login. So this is the URL that should open. Okay, so I'm just mentioning this URL. You have to press Control Shift V. Only then the URL is going to appear. So this is the URL that should happen. Okay, so these are my all steps that has been done. And if you click on automate it, so it says no port automation. So what is the starting URL that I have to give? So if I go back, this is the starting URL. Okay, so again, I think it will ask me, the browser it is asking me, right? Then just saying run test. So again, I think it is going to say that I have to connect. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you that with the different account. Okay, so how what I'm going to do is here is because see, this is a paid thing, right? So that is why it is not allowing me to do that in the same thing. So I'm just going to add a project here. Quickly, I'm going to add a project here. I'm just going to show you the automation in this, okay? Because then I have to open the account and I have to link all the things out. So just create a project here. Okay. So you can see these are the things people have added. Okay. And in this project, what I'm going to do is I just want to create one epic. Okay, so I have already told you how you can link the issues, right? I'll directly go to the Z4 here, right? Because I created one more account, right? And I have to link it. I have to open the email. So click here to enable. And I'm going to enable it. Now I'm going to create a new test case and I'm going to say verify login. Okay. I'm going to click on create and edit. So again, so I'm just going to show you now because this account is already linked. I'm just going to choose it. So here I'm going to mention the URL. Now scroll down and click on record steps. Now see, now I'm not getting the same error because this is already linked. So what is there is, here it is navigating to this Swag Labs. Okay. So here I am clicking on username. So it says click on username, standard underscore user. This is the data, right? Then input the username into the field that is standard user, password, right? That is SERET underscore SAUCE. So whatever password you're entering, it has entered. Click on login. So it says click on this login button. So this is going to open. Now I just click here, right? Click on the header within the page wrapper, right? So now see, click on logout, right? So logout is done. So I'm just clicking on save, update test. Now, what you see, guys, here is that whatever steps I was writing manually, I have just created one test. I have just run one test according to my way, right? And you can see it is loading the steps, and all the steps are recorded. The click on this, what is the data, whatever data is being passed, and everything can be mentioned over here, right? These are the steps that are being automatically recorded. And again, as I told you, you can traceable by creating a new issue here. You can create a new issue here itself, right? For example, you want to create a epic, you can create from here also. That's not a problem, right? Let's say login feature. That's the epic. So anywhere, these things can change according to your choice, right? And then you can assign them and then click on create button. Okay. So this is the coverage of this particular issue. Now, guys, let us go to the test script. Okay. So this is the traceability. This is the coverage. Now, execution, if you go, this test has no executions yet. To start execution, visit test cycles. So when you go to the test cycles, let us open it. Just going to open it. So these are my test cycles. So you can create certain test cycles over here, obviously, right? And when you create a test cycle, the test can actually run again and again, and then you can have some report over here. So right now we are not going into the depth of it. So this is how they are going to appear over here. This can be the test execution. This is the traceability, right? This is the traceability report that can be created over here. So then projects and the filters, whatever you want to apply, the last test execution or all test execution, you can see what is the coverage of this test. So let us just try to create one test cycle. Let's say login scenario, like login cycle, or let's say. Okay. And you can mention the description, the status, it is not executed or it is executed, whatever the status is, right? Just click on this portion. So it is done. Okay. So you can again set up the version and everything and create an edit. So again, the cycle has been created, and then in this you can add the test cases. Okay, so like this. So I have just added a simple test case. You can create a cycle of the test case, and then you can add more test cases inside. Like for example, you can add one with the correct input, correct username and password, one with the incorrect username and password. So all these things can be done with the help of Jira. So that's all about today, guys. So in this session, we basically understood how we can use Jira for Scrum management and test management. We have also explored the Z4 tool. So there are one more tools available like this. Okay, you can explore any tool if you want to. And Jira is basically used for project management, where you can raise your bugs, where you can create tasks, and a proper planning can be done using sprints. So that is the advantages of Jira. Similar to this, if you talk about the bug tracking tools, we have a lot more available like Bugzilla also, right? And depending upon company to company, they might be using different tools, but you should be at least aware about a single tool for understanding the concepts. So that's all for today. Now we will be meeting in the next session. Thank you, everyone.